Thank you for joining me on the Ryan Black Show. Sorry, it's been a while since I've gotten around to a show, but we are here today, and we're going to talk about a couple of things. We are going to talk about the NFL Draft. This is a draft-heavier show. I have not finished that draft special I've done yet, so this might actually just end up being that. But we're definitely going to talk a lot of NFL Draft. And we're probably going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers as well in this show. Or I might do a separate show on them. I'm not sure yet. Lots of issues there. But first we're going to hit on the NFL Draft. Well, today the Colts finally came out and told every single fan what they already knew was going to happen. Andrew Luck is going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I can tell you the number 2 overall pick, too, is going to be Robert Griffin III. Then things get interesting. The big question is anybody going to move up to number 3 to get Ryan Tannehill? I would be stunned if they did. Because honestly, Ryan Tannehill is not a good quarterback. He's good, but I don't like him. I think his stock has shot through the roof. If I had a choice between him and Brandon Wheaton, I'd pick Brandon Wheaton. And I think there's teams in this draft who are going to be very happy in the later rounds with the quarterback options you have. You have guys like Russell Wilson available, Case Keenum, Brock Osweiler, Nick Foles. So you've got good quarterbacks available in late in this draft. And sure, these guys are going to be more of project quarterbacks, but there's still some good quarterbacks in this draft that are definitely going to be available in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's even the 7th round. So, I'd be really surprised if somebody made that jump, say the Dolphins. That's the big name. A lot of people think, the Cleveland Browns are going to take Tannehill. So the Dolphins have to make the move to get Tannehill. No, they don't. They really don't. If they draft a quarterback late in the draft, if they're lucky enough and can get Wheaton in the 2nd round, take Wheaton. If they can't, then you're okay. You still have a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft available that you're set with. I mean, you're set at so many different levels with the quarterback if you develop them right. Again, I've said these are project guys, so you're not going to see Nick Foles come in and be the opening day starter, right? I mean, maybe he will. I'll be stunned if that happens. Maybe he will, but I doubt it. But give him a year and a half. To learn a system in the NFL, Nick Foles could be a good quarterback. Brock Osweiler has really impressed a lot of people. I like what I saw from him in college. I'm not sure how his game's going to translate to the NFL. You've got Cousins from Michigan State. The problem I see with Cousins is the fact that he's a good quarterback, yes, but he's had a good offensive line. If you see him, whenever he gets under a little bit of pressure, stuff doesn't go very well for him. So if you pressure him too much, you're screwed. Because I was talking to one of my friends about him, and I said, if you have an offensive line that's basically a wall, you're good. If you can have a quarterback sit there and just throw the ball, he's great at throwing the football, but he's not good at throwing it under pressure, especially when he gets out of the pocket. So I don't have a lot of faith in Cousins. A lot of people do. There's Kellen Moore, who had a great career at Boise State. And he might be a forgotten soul in this year's draft class. A lot of people thought he should have came out earlier, decided not to. Now he's not going to be a first-round pick, where maybe if he come out earlier, he would have been. So there's lots of quarterbacks available in this draft for teams to grab. And so that's a strength position in this year's draft class. And I think it's a good draft. I wouldn't say it's a great draft class. I definitely think there's some solid players in this draft class. So I don't think that you will see the Dolphins trade up to number 3 with Minnesota unless they're not thinking clearly, which I guess that has been the point. They haven't really been thinking that clearly, so you never know what will happen there. But we'll wait and find out. So Minnesota on the clock at number 3. I have Minnesota taking, Matt Kalel, the best offensive tackle, best offensive lineup prospect in this draft. He'd go there. Number 4 is Cleveland. And that's kind of where my mock starts for right now. Because, again, I don't know. I think you have a solid 1, 2, 3 pick. Unless something drastic changes. If it does, you can swap out Kalel for Tannehill. So you've got your top 3 slotted in. But I'm not sure, everything else. There's a lot of good players in this draft, though. And I'll definitely break down the first round and talk about the draft a little more. But those are my kind of thoughts. It is a week away, and man, I am stoked. I am so excited for the NFL draft. I have cable now. I can sit down and watch it. I plan on it. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday NFL draft. On Thursday, you have the first round. That starts at 5 o'clock on ESPN. I'm not sure when the draft switches to ESPN2. It might be Friday. I'm not sure. So I won't say that right now. But day 2 of the NFL draft is Friday. That's going to start an hour earlier at 4. You've got the second and the third round. And then Saturday, 4th through 7th round. And this is my first draft where I get to really sit down and be a draft geek. And I'm looking forward to sitting down and being a draft geek this year. I'm really stoked. I'm going to be doing I'm going to do live updates throughout the draft. I'm not sure how I'm going to space them out. It probably will be when things catch my eye or if there's a big move or something, but I'm not really sure. I'm definitely going to try to go at least, if nothing big happens in the top 10, then I'll probably take a break after the 10th team picks and kind of give you a 1 through 10 breakdown. But again, I haven't thought that far ahead yet, so when I get to that, I will, let you all know probably before the draft how I'm going to do it. Now, switching gears to the NBA. The season's almost over. Blazers are getting ready to wind down their season. They're not making the playoffs. Officially eliminated from that, thank goodness. LaMarcus Aldridge out for the rest of the year. Good. Go get some rest. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. We hope you get back well soon, which everything says you will. But the reason I would talk is I want to talk about Paul Allen. Paul Allen needs to sell this team. And he needs to sell this team as soon as possible. Because he's not in this for the long run. He can sit on his Twitter and deny it all he wants, but he's not in this for the long run. It's simply not going to happen for Paul Allen. He needs to sell, sell, sell. And this is the best time to sell. First of all, he doesn't want to go through another rebuilding year, which is great, fine with me. I really don't want him to. He has, let's look at the pros of what he's got to get rid of and why this would be great to sell. I did hit on this in another show, but it's definitely becoming more pertinent, which is why I am talking about it again. So definitely, he has flexibility. Flexibility galore. You look at no head coach, no general manager, 2 lottery picks, unless New Jersey gets a top 3 pick. And lots of cap space and a flexible roster. Tell me what management group wouldn't want to buy a team with all that right now. Plus a great fan base. Plus all you got to do is make a couple of deals, put like a couple of players in, and you're there. And you're back to your winning ways. So, it kind of amazes me that we are still sitting here having this conversation. He is going to sell the team. I hope he does. I would love to be able to go on record and say, I know he's going to sell, he's going to sell, he's got to sell. I can't. I want him to sell. John Canzano had a great article today in the Oregonian, and it was very enlightening. He basically laid out why if Paul's not going to sell, he needs to do whatever he can do to, make this team a winner. And news out today, the Blazers have reached out to the Los Angeles Lakers general manager Mitch Kupchak and would love to interview him as the next general manager. Let me also say there's a group in Los Angeles who is interested in buying the team and who has possibly either come up or is going to come up and look at the Rose Garden and look at the books. That was a report I heard a couple of weeks ago from Dwight James. So I don't know if anything new has come up on that front, but I enjoy it. I think it's great. I'm really excited for them to sell. LA Group, Mitch Kupchak's coming up to take a look at the job. I would love if he did. I think he's a good general manager. I think he'd have a lot more respect from people around the league if he could turn around this kind of an organization. We shall see. You know, it's a great time to be a sports fan. You've got the NHL playoffs in high gear. Lots of hard hits in the NHL, by the way. You see Marian Hossa go down. You know, you've seen lots of brutal fights. The Pens and Flyers have been just crushing each other, except for last night when the Pens blew the Flyers out 10-3. So that was phenomenal. You know, people are looking at the Penguins. Oh, they're down 0-3. They're down 0-3. Okay, they're down 0-3. They have the best offense in the game. They have one of the best teams. If they can get a steady defense, they will be great. Next year, they have a great defensive prospect if they decide to bring him in from the Portland Winterhawks. Joe Morrow, who is great, who will be a good addition, who a lot of people thought could have or should have made the Penguins this year. They wanted him to get another year's seasoning. The Pens are healthy, or as close to healthy as they can be. You know, you've got James Neal coming back Friday night for the Friday night game. So, you know, the things are lining up for the Penguins to reposition themselves to get back into the series and turn the gap. That's my little hockey bloop there. And baseball's underway. You know, I'll talk a lot about baseball throughout the summer and stuff, but right now, I mean, I'll just say baseball's underway. I sat down and I maybe watched 45 minutes or so of the game because there's so much other stuff going on. It's just not catching my eye. Pat Summitt retired. She received the highest civilian honor, the President's Medal, which is phenomenal. She is so amazing. People say who are the best coaches in college basketball. She's one of them. Not just girls, but men also. And, you know, I definitely think she's one of the top 10 coaches of any level at all time. I have a hard time putting her in at number 5. You can definitely make an argument for that. But I love the way she brought women's basketball kind of into the limelight. A little more than it was. She's a great coach, over 1,000 wins. You can't take that away from somebody. That's not luck. You know, you get lucky a lot, but luck increases when you have skill, I think. When she could coach, she had lots of skills coaching. And that's why her luck improved. That's why she has won over 1,000 games and is the best women's coach of all time and one of the best coaches of all time. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Ryan Black Show. I promise you, I will get up with you all this weekend, and I will do an in-depth draft show. Before the draft, I will have live broadcasts going out during the draft. I will do short little videos. I will throw those up on YouTube. So I guess it won't be live, but I will do my best. You can interact with me during the draft as well. I will have my Twitter pulled up, my Facebook. My Twitter handle is SportsRyan3. My Facebook page, just type Ryan Black, you find it. Then you can add yourself to the Ryan Black Show group. Thank you for joining me. This has been another great edition of the Ryan Black Show. I'm out.